still onboarding all of your clients manually? Well, stop, because with N8N and a little bit of help with AI, you can automate your entire onboarding process in less than 20 minutes. So, without further ado, let's jump right in. Every company has a different onboarding process. In order to make an automation that applies across multiple different businesses, today we're going to make one that's rather general. But keep in mind that all these tools can be changed out to the ones that you're using, and you can add or remove steps within this process to fit the needs of your business. Here's an overview of the workflow that we're going to be building today. First, the client will fill out a form with their information. Once we receive the information in the form, we create a task in ClickUp for the project management team. Then we create a shared Google Drive folder so we can share any files with the client and vice versa. After that, we'll set up their very own Notion page with any documentation related to the client. Then we'll take all that information and send it over in a welcome email to the client. And finally, we'll send a message to our team in Slack so that they know that there's a new client that they need to take care of. As you can see, we can change out some of these platforms and change some steps in this process to fit the needs of your business. Now let's jump straight into N8N and get all of our credentials connected so we can build the workflow. Let's connect ClickUp. So to get started, go ahead and open up your ClickUp account. Now you're going to find your name right here in the top right, or sometimes it's also in the bottom left. You're going to click on Settings. Next, we're going to go to Apps, and up here we're going to generate our API token. Let's go ahead and copy that token. Then let's go over to N8N. Let's add the ClickUp node. We'll go ahead and create a new credential and paste in the access token and click Save. And just like that, you've connected ClickUp to N8N. Let's connect Notion. First, let's go to notion.so/profile/integrations, link in the description below. Next, let's click New Integration. Now let's add a name. Let's choose the workspace that we're working on. Type internal and click Save. Now let's configure the integration settings. Next, we'll jump over to N8N real quick. We'll add Notion. Add any Notion block that you want. Next, click on Create a new credential, and we're going to copy this secret and we will paste it here and click Save. And it says it has been connected. Now there's one last thing we need to do, so let's open up Notion. Any pages that you would like your N8N to have access to, you need to add it here. So we click up, we click on Connections, and we go to Testing Int, which is the one I just created, and now it has access to all of the pages within this folder. Let's connect Slack. First, let's go to api.slack.com/apps. I'll leave a link in the description below. Second, let's create a new app from scratch. We're going to put a name, we're going to pick a workspace, and we're going to click Create App. All right, now that we've created the app, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to give it all the permissions that we need in order for the app to work, except for one, which we'll have to add later. So go ahead and go to OAuth and Permissions and scroll all the way down to Scopes. Now we're looking for bot token scopes. We don't need user token scopes right now because this is going to be essentially a bot that hangs out in the Slack. We're going to go app mentions read. We're going to add channels history. We're going to add channels read. We're going to add chat write, and we're going to add groups read. Okay. Now this will allow our bot to receive and send messages within the different channels. Okay. There are different scopes here. If you'd like, you can add whatever scopes you might need. Generally speaking, when the API credentials don't work, if you followed my instructions to a T after this, then it's because you haven't added the proper scopes yet, just so you know. That being said, these are the most common scopes that you're going to need. Now, once you're doing that, go ahead and scroll up and click Add New Redirect URL. And then let's go over to N8N. Let's add a credential and let's type Slack. Now, we're going to start with OAuth 2 API. We're going to click Continue. We're going to grab the redirect URL and we're going to put it right in there and click Add. We're going to save that. So in order to test this out, I'm going to go back to the Slack trigger. I'm going to make sure I have the Slack account enabled. I'm going to grab a channel to watch from the Slack account. Okay, we're going to grab General Channel. And then we're going to grab the test URL and click Test Step. We're going to go back here and we're going to change this to the test URL. Now, why am I doing this? This is for testing purposes to show you guys that this works. We're going to click Save Changes. I think we're good to go. Now we go over here in general chat and we're going to go at and then the bot. Now we're going to have to add this to the channel. So let's go ahead and go at YouTube test. And then it says invite them. And then we're going to do it again. And then we go back over to N8N and you can see that now we have a response of hi. I said hi to the bot. So now we can trigger that workflow, send it to an AI, or do whatever it is that you guys would like. Now we're going to connect Google Suite. If you're using the N8N cloud version, you can skip this step. All you have to do is click sign in with Google and you're good to go. If you're self-hosting, stick around. First, go to console.cloud.google.com. Link is in the description below. Then type in Google Drive, select Google Drive API, click on Enable. Now click on OAuth consent screen, click on branding, and let's give it a name, a support email. Let's put an authorized domain. Now make sure this domain is the same as your N8N, which is right here. And then put your developer contact information. Once that's saved, click over on client and let's create a new client. Application type web application, give it a name. And under authorized redirect URIs, we're going to go to N8N, open any Google Drive node. Let's create a new credential, grab this URL right here, and we'll paste it here, and then we'll click create. Once it's created, we're going to grab our client ID and the client secret. We're going to paste them here and here, and then let's click sign in with Google. Here you need to make sure that you select the same Google account that you were using in the Google Cloud Console. It's going to ask you a question and click continue and you're good to go. So in order to connect Gmail, you're going to follow the exact same process. The only difference here is we're going to type in Gmail API up here and we're going to make sure that this is enabled. And then everything else that you just did is the same for connecting Gmail to N8N. So go ahead and pause the video, connect that, and then follow along. Diving straight into the workflow, if you'd like to skip the tutorial, I have a link to download this down below in the description. That being said, let's get started. So first we're starting out with a form that the client fills out. Now this is a simple form. You can add and remove questions as you like, tailor them to your business, but I give it a quick title, a quick description. I'm asking for the first name, their email, company name, the services that they requested, they can only pick one, and any additional notes that they might have for us. And then I went ahead and named the link onboarding. So if we click test step here, this is what the form looks like right here. So I'm gonna fill it out with some test data. Cool, so here's some test data for you guys. I'm gonna click submit, and now we see that the data is right here. So I'm gonna pin this data so we can use it later on in the workflow. Next, we have to set up ClickUp. So go over to your ClickUp workspace and create a space here. Mine is called Onboarding Test, and then create a simple list. That's all you really need to do. After that, you're set up and ready to go. Of course, you can customize this as you need. We'll jump back over to N8N. We'll add a new node for ClickUp, and we'll say create a task, just like this. And here we're selecting the ClickUp account we connected earlier, resource task, operation create. We're going to put it under the team name, under the space name that we just created. We're going to call it a folderless list. Now, of course, this might change if you have multiple folders within that space, organizing the tasks differently for each of your team members. Now, we're putting here the name. For the name of the task, I decided to put the person's name, their company name, and then put onboarding here. So you can drag and drop that like this. First name, right? Company name would be like this. And then I just put dash onboarding right there. And for the assignees, I'm assigning it to myself. We don't primarily use ClickUp for task management. We actually use GitHub projects, but that's pretty unrelatable for most businesses, so that's why I decided to use ClickUp. So here you will select whoever it is you want to assign the task to, and then I put this due date here. Now this is a bit of JavaScript that ChatGPT generated for us. Basically it creates a new date time with date time now, and then I'm adding 7 days to it, and then splitting it up. So it removes the hours and it just gives us a date that's 7 days away from today. Of course, you can change this as you like. I just recommend you use ChatGPT to generate this bottom part. And we're going to make it a priority of 3. So let's test this step right here. We'll go over to ClickUp, click refresh, and we can see we have onboarding for Horizon Development LLC. If you guys think that building this workflow is complicated and you just want a little bit of extra help, I am hosting a free community where I answer literally any question that gets asked in the community. So be sure to check out the link down below and I'll be there to help you. Next, we're going to add a Google Drive node. So you can click here, go Drive, And we're going to create a folder, which is right here. Now I've already grabbed that node. Here we're going to use the credential that we connected earlier. Give it a folder, create, and of course we're giving it a name again. So the name is going to be client, client's full name, company, company name. And again, so to show you how we built this, right here, this is just text. We can go over to here, click on form submission, grab full name right there, and grab the company name, put it right there, and beautiful. And then it's going to be in my drive, and I have a folder in my drive that's called clients. So that looks like this. This should create a folder in that folder called clients. So let's click test, and beautiful. It gave us an ID and it said it created it. So we'll go back here and we can see now that we have that folder. Now here we have an edit fields node. Now this node here is only creating the Google Drive folder link. All you have to do is add this ID to the end of this link here. So it's drive.google.com/drive/folders like this. And then you put the ID and that goes to the same folder. So if we copy that and paste that in here, you can see it goes to the folder here, client Austin Reed, company Horizon Development. And all I did basically was I took this here and I dragged it and I dropped it and we were good to go. So let's test that step real quick. Obviously this step doesn't do anything. It just provides the folder URL. So we're good. Next, we need to share the folder with the client. So you can go over here and click share folder and add that node. Make sure you select the same Google Drive account, folder, operation share, and then here we're going to grab the folder URL we just created like that, and we're going to give writer permissions. Now I've experimented doing owner and file organizer and it doesn't let me, so I just do writer permission, and this allows them to create, delete, edit documents within the folder, which is good enough for me. And here we're going to put the email of the client. All we do is we go here, we go on form submission, and we drag and drop that over, and it's good to go. So let's test that step, and it says it was executed successfully. So let me go over to my email and double check. And we can see that the folder was shared with me, so we're good. Next, we need to create a page in Notion. So in order to do that, first we need to jump over to Notion. Jump in the folder that you would like to add new pages, or a folder above it if you're using the API for multiple different things. Then we're going to click on the three dots over here and connections. And we're going to make sure that we add our N8N app that we created earlier. So I added test. I believe I added it here under clients. Go down here, connections, test, look. And we need to make sure it's a database, okay? It's really important. So this page, I created a database as the page. So in order to do that, I'll show you how in Notion real quick. If we make a new page, we can just click down here to database and we're good to go. Jumping back to the other database, I added a series of columns. First one name, second one company, third one's an email, service, Google Drive, and additional information. And we can always add or remove those as needed. Once you have the table set up the way that you want it, let's jump back over to N8N, and we're going to add a new node for Notion called create page. It's going to create a page right here, and Notion testing database page we're going to create from list of clients. Now the clients is the page, the sub page right here, right? And the title of the page is going to be the name or whatever it is you want to put, but I'm putting the name of the client, and I put simplify true because it makes it really easy. Then under the name, I'm also going to put the same. So just drag and drop the name. I'm going to put their email. So you drag and drop the email. I'm going to put the company. Again, drag and drop the company. Do the same with the service. We'll do the same with the additional information. And of course, the Google Drive, this one's a little bit different. We'll click over here. We'll go to the edit fields and we'll grab the Google Drive. And then we can click test step. Beautiful. And if we go back to Notion here, we now have a new page for Horizon Dev LLC under my name with a custom email and the Drive folder. Next, we're going to add an AI agent node, and this AI agent is responsible for creating the email. So once you add that node, we're going to attach a GPT model. So I'll show you what that looks like. You click here, you go GPT. Of course, you can use any model you want. It's OpenAI actually. GPT-4o mini is perfect. And then we're going to click here. The next thing is we're going to click require specific output format as true. And in here, I'm just going to put subject as string, body as string, and email as string. So the AI will return 3 elements. All right, so looking at the prompt, it says here, your job is to write a welcome email for the client. It will provide them Notion link, Google Drive, Calendly link for them to schedule with, and any other relevant information. Tone should be professional friendly, and let them know that we're excited to work with them, and be sure to use this in the signature. And then I gave information about the company. Now for this, I just dragged and dropped straight from the Notion page right here because it has all the information already. So it's really easy to just drag and drop that like this, like for the additional information, bam, right? And then I told it that the output needs to be in the same format that the output parser is right here. So let's go ahead and test that and see. And this email looks quite good. So let's go ahead and send that over. So the next node obviously is a send message node from Gmail. So if we type in Gmail, we can send a message and use the email account you connected earlier. Message send. The to email goes from here, from the AI, you just drag and drop. Subject, drag and drop here. And body, drag and drop there. So let's test that step. And it says it's sent. So let me check my email and see what that looks like. So checking the email, I can see that it's in the wrong format. So we're going to edit the prompt a little bit so that it looks better. And I got it to look a lot more beautiful here. So I only added one sentence to the prompt to make it work. So if we go back over here, the only thing I told it to do is I told it to output the email in HTML format. And then if you go to the send message right here, just make sure the email type is HTML, and it will look nice and beautiful with emojis. Honestly, this is a perfect onboarding email. It's amazing. So that brings us to our last node here where we notify our team in Slack that this is happening. My team, they operate in Discord, but most companies use Slack, so that's what we're going to use today. So you can go ahead and add a new Slack node to send a message in Slack right there. You can connect the credential we connected earlier, message send to the channel. You choose the channel you want it to send in, and simple text message, and we're going to add the message right now. All right, I went ahead and filled out that node. So we have a new client onboarding alert. We have the information here. We dragged it directly over from the Notion page like last time, just drag and drop like that. And I believe we are good to go. So let's go ahead and test that step. And it says it's successful, so let's log into Slack and see what it looks like. All right, so let's go over here and check the general channel, and it looks like we did receive that message, so we're good to go. I hope that this video helped you guys out. If you guys would like some help with your automations, I am hosting a free community, so be sure to check out that link down below, and I'll see you guys next time.